It's so easy to forget about this show when it's not on. It was a rerun last Sunday. I had 2 whole weeks where I didn't have to think about Batwoman, and my god, it was glorious. But unfortunately, it left me unprepared for what I just watched, because having to suffer through this shit after a 2-week break was whiplash like you wouldn't believe. I didn't remember anything. The entire storyline, or what these writers think is a storyline, had completely faded out of my head, so I had to refresh myself. And the more I remembered, the worse my mood got. So when you're deciding whether or not to let the ads play, just keep in the back of your head that I'm watching this episode in the worst possible frame of mind for something like this. Is it too much to ask that whatever happens this week, it won't be enough to somehow make my mood even worse? It's time to find out. God help me. The episode begins with the return of Kate. Well, that was quick. Okay, look, it's not as bad as you might be thinking. For starters, she looks like she's been through hell and she's all burned up. So knowing that Kate has spent the last few months in agonizing pain, that takes a little bit of the poison off the knife before I get to the really infuriating stuff. Also, I guess this is the debut of the new actress, so God willing, that window on Ruby Rose making a return is officially closed now. And this is interesting. It looks like, at least in the short term, she's gonna be a villain. It's the part Kate Kane was born to play, baby! So Black Mask and Dr. Rhyme are unveiling Kate 2.0, and Rhyme has worked some hypnotism mumbo-jumbo on Kate to make her believe that she is the daughter of Black Mask. That being the dead daughter that Kate supposedly killed. Beats me how this is supposed to account for all the memories of being the daughter that Kate should have. Rhyme says she'll have the daughter's memories now. I don't know how the hell that makes any sense, but this was the plan. Black Mask wanted his daughter back, so he had his men pull a woman out of a crashed plane who Rhyme then brainwashed into thinking that she's the daughter. If I'm ranking all the stupid plans that have ever occurred on this show, from stupidest to just plain dumb, that one's up there. I have one question. If Black Mask was dead set on doing this, why did he choose to do it with one of the most high-profile public billionaires in the city? There weren't any other women he could have done this with instead that would have helped him stay under the radar? Someone nobody would have noticed had gone missing? A homeless girl off the street, maybe? Whatever. Color me surprised. They actually bothered to explain why Kate's voice sounds different now. Her larynx got damaged during the kidnapping. Okay, that's more of an explanation than I thought we'd get. Thank you. Now they just need to explain why Kate is suddenly several inches taller, and maybe we'll be getting somewhere. So everyone in the Sionis family has a replica mask decorating their casket. As family traditions go, that's weirdly specific. Roman took the one that was in his daughter's coffin and he puts it on Kate. Rhyme does whatever she does, and now Kate thinks she's the daughter. Sionis tells her that she was in a fire when she broke out of Arkham, and that's why she's wearing a mask. So she's either horribly burned under that thing, or she has a brand new face. Either way, it's a big step up from Ruby Rose. Cut to Alice and Ocean having just got their freak on the night before. Alice wakes up first and gets ready to do her walk of shame, but there's false-face thugs at the door who tase her and kidnap Ocean. And in my notes I wrote that they both got kidnapped because that just makes sense. They could use Alice to manipulate Ocean into making the snakebite for them. And even if Black Mask didn't want Alice for anything, why would you leave a loose end like her just dangling around? I don't know. But they do. They don't kidnap her or kill her. They just leave her there so she's free to start f***ing their shit up a few scenes later. Brilliant. Over at Crow's HQ, Sophie is comparing a JPEG of Ryan Wilder to a JPEG of Batwoman and thinking, yeah, they really do look alike. I can't believe I didn't notice it sooner. And sweet Jesus, the irony of Sophie being the one to figure this out. Sophie is dumb as dirt. And all it takes to confirm this for her is clicking on a few photos. See, Ryan, this is why you doing stupid stuff like appearing on the TV news as Batwoman was a dumb idea. Anybody with facial recognition software could probably figure out who you are now, which I guess, is why we haven't seen anybody using that stuff this season. She talks to Agent What's-His-Name about the rumor that he got some of Batwoman's DNA from that crime scene the other night, and he says that since her and the last Batwoman were so tight that she could save them some work if she'd just tell him who the new one is. She thinks he's squandering resources on trying to uncover Batwoman's identity, but Jacob signed off on this, so TS. And not shockingly, the fact that Agent What's-His-Name saw Sophie on that security footage when he was watching Batwoman fight Black Mask is never brought up. Jacob orders Sophie to stay out of that whole thing. She doesn't, defies orders, What's-His-Name finds out about it, and then it's just not a thing anymore. Because why have continuity from one episode to another? That would be like work or something. So Jacob's in his office shooting up with Snakebite. Sophie comes in and asks if they shouldn't be more focused on finding out who Black Mask really is. Says the woman who had Black Mask helpless at gunpoint in the last episode could have easily unmasked him and chose not to. Shut up, Sophie. Jacob reminds her that they were focused on Black Mask until Batwoman ruined their operation, and Sophie wonders if that's why he's doing this, or is it because every time he sees the new Batwoman, he thinks of Kate. Jacob gets mad and kicks her out. Boo-hoo. Over in the Batcave, Team Batwoman are watching footage of Angelique with a gun to her head. Black Mask had all his cookhouses connected with a video feed, so Luke can track the IP address to the place where Angelique is. Well, they say he can. He never actually does it. And then Ryan finds Angelique without his help, so the whole thing is pointless. Then Sophie turns on the bat signal, so Ryan has to go deal with this now. And can we please dispense with the unless you want to give me your name and number crap until Ryan's current uninteresting love interest is off the table? Jesus Christ. Ryan's using a voice changer again. I don't know why. It's not like Sophie hasn't heard what Batwoman's real voice sounds like before. Sophie tells her about the blood sample. Once the Crows get a DNA profile, they'll be uploading it to the National DNA Registry, so Batwoman should be fine, unless she's ever been in the system. If she has, she's and once that goes through, an arrest warrant will come in a few hours. As if the Crows have ever needed a warrant to arrest somebody before. Sure. Ryan's got no clue what to do about this, so lacking any better ideas, or any ideas period, she's gonna use the next few hours to save the one person who had the guts to testify against Black Mask, while Sophie tries to clean up this mess for her. Later on, Ryan's searching some random building while Luke talks over the comms about how Black Mask isn't going to kill Angelique if she's the only one who can cook the snakebite for him, so maybe they should deal with this DNA situation first, because finding Angelique isn't worth flushing the Bat legacy down the crapper. And Luke, buddy, I do agree with you, by the way, but if this show was in any way concerned with the legacy of the Bat, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. But Ryan doesn't care about that legacy stuff, and let's not kid ourselves, the writers don't either. Not when there's shipping to be done. God, I hate the CW. Ryan finds a dead man impaled through the chest with a road flare of all things, and then finds Alice torturing another man with a second road flare. What happened, Alice? Your switchblade get too many bloodstains on it? Alice has been attacking known falseface hideouts looking for Ocean, and she heard through the grapevine that Angelique couldn't whip up that secret sauce that gives the snake its extra bite, so Black Mask used her phone to track Ocean down. Man, Ocean has the worst luck with those things. Ryan barely blinks upon hearing that Ocean isn't dead after Alice, killed him. But Alice has found out where him and Angelique are being held. It's a fortified place, though, so she'll need someone to use as a human shield. And you know what that means. Ryan doesn't much care for the idea of teaming up with the woman whose gang killed her mom, but Alice then murders the guy who gave her the location, which Ryan also barely blinks at, doesn't even try to stop her, which means she's out of options. Also, Black Mask only wants Ocean and Angelique to spill the snakebite recipe, after which he won't need them anymore, so they might want to hurry. So they take a ride in the Batmobile, where Alice is punching buttons like a 5-year-old because the writers think that's funny for some reason. Hey, what's this do? Self-destruct! Cool! Can I push it? Can I push it? At Crow's HQ, Sophie can't get to the DNA sample because people are watching it too closely. Well, one person is, who was out of the lab when Sophie tried talking to her, so not exactly a fortress of security here, but Sophie's gonna need a plan B. Back in the Batcave, Mary tries to be the voice of reason. Just let that sink in for a minute. She wonders how desperate they are if they're trusting Alice. And I guess she's not wrong, but Luke is the man, so it's not like the writers are gonna let him figure out where Angelique is. Then Sophie calls and tells them they've got 78 minutes before the crows have the DNA profile. And once it goes into the national database, it's gonna get matched against anyone who's ever been in there. Like with an arrest, for example. And that's really bad because, in case you didn't know, Ryan has spent a lot of time around criminals. The snakebite lab is on a boat, I guess. They say it's a boat, but it looks like a warehouse. Inside, some false-faced goon has set up a video camera to record Ocean and Angelique making the snakebite, so Black Mask will then know how to make it. They refuse, so he threatens to shoot them. What if they still refuse, dude? Are you gonna kill the only people who know how to make the stuff? Then your whole operation would be SOL, wouldn't it? Threaten them with pain, not with death, dumbass. Hell, threaten to make them watch Batwoman. I can't think of anything more painful than that. Ryan and Alice arrive at the waterfront, and Ryan, at least, sort of tries to come up with a plan. Alice draws them out so Ryan can take them out. Okay. But Alice thinks that's lame and just honks the horn. And this draws out a bunch of thugs so we can finally get to the mindless, boring, uninspired, half-assed fight scene of the episode. Yay. They take these guys out so easily it's downright boring, and one of them won't tell Ryan where exactly on the boat the prisoners are. I don't know why that's a problem. We're not talking about the frickin' Titanic here. The boat's not that big. So Alice leans on this guy a teeny tiny bit, and he talks instantly, because he's a man, and men always crack under pressure, don't they, writers? And then Ryan realizes what this ocean thing is really about for Alice. Oh my God! You love him! Is that your boyfriend? Do you want to have a sleepover and tell me all about it while we gorge on ice cream and give each other makeovers and practice making out with our pillows and stuff? Some of those lines were real. The rest I made up. I'm willing to bet that you're honestly not sure which are which. And that just makes me want to throw up. So Alice is like, look, I had a breakthrough in therapy. Turns out the unresolved feelings I thought I resolved by killing this dude are still on the table. But I know what happens to straight couples on this show, so let's not make it a big thing. But this is the CW, so they have to. Meanwhile, aren't there 2 prisoners that you ladies are in a hurry to rescue before they get a bullet in the head? Tick-tock, assholes! Mary shows up at Crow's HQ with a present for Sophie. It's a kill drive that will rearrange Batwoman's DNA results, making them unreadable. As long as they don't scan them a second time, I guess. And Sophie notes that this must mean Mary is on the Bat's payroll too. Busted. But again, it's not because Sophie was smart, it's because the other person was a fucking moron. Anyway, to make this work, Sophie's gonna have to plug the drive into the computer in Jacob's office. So, Mary gets Jacob out of there, Sophie sneaks in, she calls Luke because he didn't include the instruction manual, but it's actually really simple. She just has to click on Batwoman's profile once they upload it. But they're uploading files from dozens of investigations, and they're numbered, not named. So the only way to do this in time would be to scramble all of them, which would be very beneficial to all the rapists and murderers in those files, so she can't do that. God knows Sophie has to make sure all those evil men get punished, so she comes up with another idea. Back to Ryan and Alice. Ryan radios the goon watching Ocean and Angelique pretending to be one of the thugs they just took out and says they need backup. And then the girls spend a fucking eternity talking about their love lives. Because this is the time and the place for something like that. Are you sure Angelique is good enough for you? Well, are you asking for a friend? Or because you accidentally have feelings for someone and that terrifies you? For this shit, I had to wait until 11:30 to watch the Nevers. Unbelievable. They dish about Angelique some more. Alice thinks Ryan's determined to save her because of guilt, because Angelique never got adopted like she did, but eventually the conversation turns to Kate, as most of them do on this show, and Alice says that Kate was obsessed with saving her and couldn't accept reality. That's funny. Not accepting reality is what I imagine the writers are like. And she didn't realize it until it was too late. So Alice gives Ryan some advice. You can't save everyone without losing who you are. So only after several minutes of this do the rest of the false-faced goons go running out of the boat. Beats the hell out of me what took them so long. I guess they didn't want to be around to listen to this conversation any more than I did. So Ryan and Alice are ready to move in now, but Ryan is a woman who never forgets. And she's handcuffed Alice to a pipe. But she tells Alice not to worry. She's gonna save Ocean. From Alice. she's gonna make sure he knows exactly who Alice is. Ryan, she stabbed Ocean in the chest and killed him. I'm pretty sure he's got the gist. And then we cut to, fuck my ass. The illegal underground abortion clinic. Mary's boasting to Jacob about how the clinic passed a health inspection. If you think that makes no goddamn sense at all, just wait, it gets worse. The clinic now also has storage that's up to code and certified doctors and nurses. Yeah, getting more confusing by the moment, but we're not at the best part yet. And all that would leave Mary to just handle the paperwork and stuff. And this sounds an awful lot like what Jacob offered to help Mary do with the clinic, only for her to throw it back in his face. But sure enough, she's still not interested in making the clinic legit. Well, legal is the word they keep dancing around. And her condition for doing all this super lame stuff, like complying with basic health and safety regulations, is that if someone comes in with a gunshot wound, she can just fax a report to the proper authorities and totally play dumb about the fact that the fax machine is broken. So, everybody gets what they want, right? That, in Mary's mind, is a compromise. A compromise. She said this. So basically, she'll have storage that actually works and a qualified medical staff handling the patients, but she's not going to report gunshot victims, and she wants Jacob to look the other way when she's treating potential criminals, which I guess would make him an accessory, but what does she care about that? In other words, Mary has taken all the steps necessary to make the clinic legal, but she's reserving the right to continue using it to break the law. Is anyone else wondering what Leslie Tompkins is up to these days? Then Jacob bafflingly gives Mary the all-clear to reopen the clinic, and he fucks off. That dude has zero fucks left to give about anything, and with what he has to deal with, it's really hard not to sympathize. So new Kate, still wearing the mask, arrives on the scene sporting these curved knives. I guess that's her new signature weapon. She wants to know where Batwoman is. She puts a knife to Alice's throat, and Alice is like, she's on the boat where the snakebite lab is, you idiot. Can you guess which part I added that time? Agent What's-His-Name is about to have Batwoman's identity, but instead of scrambling all the files, Sophie just scrambled Ryan Wilder's file, so What's-His-Name has nothing. And it's super embarrassing for him because he had a bunch of people come in to watch the results. He was so sure Batwoman would be in the system because she's black, I guess, and that's what an evil white person would think. But looks like Ryan dodged a kryptonite bullet, and Sophie goes down to the lab just to rub it in this guy's face, then goes back to Jacob's office to erase her digital footprint. Why didn't she just do that before? I don't know. I guess she just couldn't wait to embarrass What's-His-Name. And right after he let her off the hook for that security footage thing, too. Uncalled for, Sophie. So Ocean and Angelique have finished the cook. They're trying to make a case for the false-face goon to not kill them now, but he doesn't give a shit, and he shoots Ocean in the gut. But looks like Ocean's taken a page out of Jacob's playbook because he's not nearly as injured as he really should be. Then Batwoman shows up, smashes the drugs, and takes this goon out. Ocean tells them to leave him there, which seems completely out of character for him, but they don't. You're gonna get out of here and find that girl you won't shut up about, says Angelique. But they'll have to escape without Batwoman, who tells them to go out the back. It's a boat! Wouldn't going out the back put them in the water? While she stays behind and just stands there doing nothing until new Kate shows up. Why didn't she help them escape? Why'd she stay behind when there was no reason to? I don't know. It was in the script, I guess. So these two are fighting now, and I'll give the show this. The first thing new Kate does is try to kill Ryan. I can get on board with that. I'm not going to start liking Kate or anything. F that noise. But if the show is pointing her like a gun at other characters that piss me off, so there's a chance, however small, that they might just put each other out of my misery, I mean, if you absolutely have to use Kate, that's not the worst way to do it. So Ryan's losing the fight, because the Batsuit is vulnerable to normal punches now, remember, but Alice takes out new Kate from behind with a fire extinguisher, and then tries to be all cutesy-poo about it, giving new Kate the opportunity to recover and take out Alice from behind, because Alice is an idiot. New Kate's fighting both of them now, and to the shock of no one, there's never any continuity whatsoever when Kate and Alice fight. Sometimes they're evenly matched. One time Alice beat Kate without breaking a sweat. Granted, she was armed with a trumpet at the time. And here, Kate is fighting Alice and Ryan, and it's Alice and Ryan who are outclassed. There's no story here, no logical progression. Whatever the plot needs to happen is what happens. Lazy AF, writers. So new Kate has the fight won. She's strangling Alice. Alice begs Ryan for help, but Ryan's like, nah. So Alice placates her and says that she does remember Ryan's mom. When she said she forgot her, that was a lie. She remembers her name and what she was wearing. And Alice stops short of saying that Ryan's mom's life mattered, but that's clearly what they were going for here. So again, Alice begs Ryan for help, and again, Ryan's just not feeling it. So I guess that earlier episode where Ryan hallucinated her mom saying this isn't the girl I raised and decided that Alice wasn't worth taking revenge on, that shit just never happened, huh? We're just retconning that whole story now. Is anyone really surprised? Like you said, you can't save everybody, Ryan says. And she just walks away, leaving Alice to die, not doing a damn thing to apprehend the mask-wearing, knife-wielding maniac because Ryan's petty revenge is more important than justice. Oh, but this show is super concerned about the legacy of the Bat, right? F*** off. Sophie's back in Jacob's office erasing her digital footprint. Then she finds Jacob's hidden stash, but the box is empty, and there are a bunch of used syringes just sitting there in the trash can. So Jacob hid an empty box, but left the actual evidence someplace where anyone could just stumble along and find it. There is not a single functioning brain cell between any of these chuckleheads. So Sophie immediately goes to Mary about this, but in a stunning twist, now that Mary's got what she wanted, she isn't all that concerned about Jacob's problems. Oh, come on. My dad just signed off on the clinic. Even the highly illegal stuff I was totally flippant about. I'm sure he's not on drugs. And this is the only family Jacob has left right now. I can't imagine why this man would be tempted to experiment with designer hallucinogens. I really can't. So Angelique visits Ryan. She owns up to the whole kidnapping thing being her fault because she put herself in that position. Ryan wants them to start over, and Angelique asks Ryan to go into witness protection with her. But Ryan can't, because her life is here. Angelique doesn't get that because Gotham sucks, but Ryan thinks that maybe they can make it suck less. And I'm not even paraphrasing here. That's pretty much the dialogue. Just scintillating wordsmiths these writers are. Anyway, Ryan thinks that community center is gonna change everything, and wow, they're really putting a lot of their eggs in that basket. Angelique realizes that she never deserved Ryan because Ryan truly is the bestest ever, at least when Kate isn't there. So they hug, and that might be the last we see of Angelique. And I don't know what the odds are of Ryan f***ing Sophie by the next episode, but I wouldn't bet against it. And the episode ends with Alice waking up tied to a chair. Take a shot. New Kate decided not to kill Alice because she was fighting with Batwoman, and New Kate figured Black Mask would want to meet her. But Black Mask is like, nah, just kill her. But he changes his mind at the last second and tells New Kate to just dump her in the basement for now. So New Kate takes a good look at Alice. Maybe she recognizes her, maybe she doesn't, and knocks her out. Brace yourselves for a shock, people. This episode wasn't very good. With Kate's role in a state of flux right now, Mary has taken over as the most infuriating character on display here, and damned if she's not gunning for Kate's record already. Luke continues to do absolutely nothing like he's done for this entire f***ing season. I can't tell whether Jacob or Dougray Scott have fewer f***s to give at this point. You just retconned one of the biggest parts of Ryan's character development that she's gotten since you introduced her. You say you're concerned with the legacy of the Bat, only to spit on it a few scenes later. And oh yeah, Kate's back! You went to all this trouble of turning her into a brainwashed assassin, which might have had possibilities if you hadn't been stupid about it, but then you pointed her at Alice, the one person on this shit show who's actually tolerable to be around! It's as if every step the writers take is done to intentionally hasten their show's own demise. And after seeing the ratings for this week, well, mission accomplished, ass clowns. God, I hate this fucking show. But there's only one more episode this season, thank Christ. Just one more installment of this dreck to get through, and then I'm free. Although some people are saying that there's actually several more episodes now. But that can't possibly be true. I'm sure those people are just trolling me. I mean, there's no way the universe could be that cruel, right? Right? Why isn't anyone saying anything? Thanks for suffering through this shit with me, guys. Leave a comment down below. That godforsaken algorithm just does not give up, so I need every fucking one of you. Ding the bell icon for notifications. Follow me on social media so you'll always know when I upload new stuff. The link is down there. Thumbs up the video, share, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, and I'll be back with more very soon. You guys take care, do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time.